All right, so the next thing we're going to look at is what happens when we find the derivative of the sum of two functions. So we have this new function h of x, which is defined as the sum of two functions. Now, even though we don't know f of x and g of x, we don't know what they are, we can still apply the limit definition of a derivative, right? So that's all we're going to do. We're going to do the limit as h approaches 0 of, okay, so we have f of x plus h plus g of x plus h, right? That's our h of x plus h. And then we're going to subtract, in parentheses, f of x plus g of x. Okay, that's our h of x, is the sum of two functions. And then we're just going to divide all of that by h. All right, so now let's get fancy here. Let's rearrange this a little bit. So I have the limit as h approaches 0. Got to carry that along. Now I can rearrange this and I can put the two f functions together. So I can make it f of x plus h minus f of x, right? And then I'll put the two g functions together. So g of x plus h minus g, oops, I'll make that a little neater, g of x. Okay, so we have to distribute that negative. So, this will be a minus g of x. And then I'm going to divide all of that by h. All right, so now, all right, let's, oops, I don't know where my 0 went. Limit as h goes to 0. All right, so you can kind of see what's going to happen here. When I have multiple terms in the numerator, I can basically divide each term in the numerator. But I'm going to break it up. I'll put some brackets around it here. All right, I'm going to do f of x plus h minus f of x all over h, and then plus g of x plus h minus, oops, g of x all over h, right? I just broke it into the two terms with the f function and the g function, and then divided each by h, okay? So now you can kind of see where we're going here. Now when we have, if you remember, again, your limit laws, we can just do the limit as h goes to 0 of f of x plus h minus f, oops, parenthesis, f of x all over h plus the limit as h goes to 0 of g of x plus h minus g of x all over h, right? Just by the limit laws. And now you can see we basically have two derivatives, right? We have f prime of x plus g prime of x. Okay? And so that's our next rule, is that if we take the derivative dx of the sum of two functions, f of x plus g of x, right, we end up with yeah, I'll go ahead and write it out again. F prime of x plus g prime of x, okay? That's our next limit law. So if you have a sum, the derivative of the sum is the sum of the derivatives. So that's a nice easy rule to remember. Okay, so then this last box here on this page is just summarizing what we just went over. We did the constant multiple of a function, right? The derivative of a constant multiple of a function is the constant multiple times the derivative. The derivative of a sum of two functions is the sum of the derivatives. And now we could have gone through the same process for a difference, right? We could do the difference of two functions, but just take my word for it, or you can reason it out yourself. If you take the derivative of the difference of two functions, you get the difference of the derivatives. All right, so in the next example, we're just going to use these new rules in combination with the power rule that we just learned, and do some more derivatives.